Union Army. And then later, in the winter, he was a school teacher, and in the summer, he was a peddler. He had a horse and buggy, and he traveled around and sold medicines to people. And then eventually, he made his own concoction called Kring's Household Balm. I have one of the ads here that I can pass around. And so he and my brothers put the liquid in bottles, and they shipped it all over via the railroad. And the household balm is good for both internal and external ailments. And right on the bottle label it says contains 62% alcohol. I received my diploma from Sunbury High School in 1897. But 2 years before that, I had passed the exams to become a teacher. And so I did. And I taught for a while, and that's where I met my husband, Herbert Eliot. He was a teacher. And we were married in 1898, and we set up housekeeping in Delaware, where Herbert was hired as the assistant probate judge. And then later he was the manager of the National Fireproofing Company, which made clay tile out on East William Street. Herbert was born on his grandparents' farm in near Lewis Center, and he was very proud of his Eliot lineage. The first Eliot to come over to the American colonies was the Reverend John Eliot, who sailed from England in 1631. Reverend Eliot established schools and towns for the Indians, and he even translated the Bible into the Massachusetts language. Well, back to National Fireproofing. We were transferred to Haydenville, which is in Hocking County, and we loaded everything on a Hocking Valley Railroad car and took it down there, and most of the houses in that company town are made of clay tile, but ours was frame, and it even had electricity and running water. And I even had a housekeeper to help with our 4 children. And we were not really happy with public schooling that our 2 oldest were getting in Haydenville. So we asked to be transferred back to Delaware. And the West Elementary School, they put my 2 boys back 2 grades because of the poor start that they had in Haydenville. So we moved into our house at 448 West Central in 1911, and this is a photo from about 1912. And you'll notice there is what looks like a pump in the front yard, but it's not. It's a faucet. And so it was quite a change for me because, again, there was no electricity and no plumbing in a house that was built before the Civil War. And Herbert is vice president of the Sunray Stove Company. So we did have coal Sunray heating stoves in each of our main rooms. But the second floor didn't have any heat. The only way it could get up was from a hole in the floor above each stove. And Herbert was quite civic-minded, and he was president of the city council and vice mayor of Delaware. He's been very busy with the county Republican Party as chairman, and he was the campaign chairman for Frank B. Willis when he ran for governor of Ohio. Frank is a childhood friend, and we were so happy when he was elected. Frank appointed Herbert to the Industrial Commission for Ohio, which is a new organization that handles the claims from injured workers. And so now every day Herbert takes the interurban down to Columbus and back in the evening. We just completed adding a bathroom upstairs and a kitchen sink with running water. Before that, I would send one of the children out to the front yard to get water from the spigot, as we were the last house on the city water line. And we have electric lights. They are so nice. We can push the top button on the brass wall plate to turn them on, and push the bottom button to turn them off. And we have an electric heater in the kitchen. because the heat from our new coal stove, or coal furnace, doesn't get back there. And that was quite an undertaking to put our coal furnace, because the house had no cellar, no basement. And so thanks to our horse Mary and to our boys, they dug out the cellar by hand, loaded it in a cart, hauled it up the ramp, and now we have a coal furnace, which in the winter we have to load the coal into that twice a day in the winter. And there's still no heat in the second floor, so there's a great big iron grate in the middle of the floor where the heat comes up, and that's the only source. So the children come down and they change out of their night clothes in front of or on top of the coal furnace grate. And so I have 3 boys in their teen years, and that keeps me quite busy cooking. And so I think that I will get really busy soon. But first I want to mention that they're in the National Guard, the Ohio National Guard, to support the war effort. And we're not sure when this great war will end. And I do worry that the 2 oldest will want to enlist in the Army when they graduate from Delaware High School. Paul is 18, and Charles is 17, John is 14, and Jean Elizabeth is 11. So I better get cooking some fried chicken.